Well, it finally happened. I suppose at this rate it was probably inevitable, but it looks like Konami has finally put the nail in the coffin. First they removed all of the images on Dueling Network, and then just the other day, Dueling Network essentially went down entirely. And now today, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro is forced to close its doors for legal reasonings. Now if you ask me, I'd say that Yu-Gi-Oh! Slowly started dying about 2 years ago now, when Duelist Alliance was launched, but that's an entirely different topic for an entirely different day. Because this changes the game a lot. Having online outlets such as Dueling Network and Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro changes the landscape in terms of the relationship players are able to have with the game. For me personally, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro was a place in which I could sit down on my computer and play a couple games in my spare time. It was simple, easy to use, and restrictive enough to the point in which your opponent couldn't cheat. It was a great place to test decks and to examine the interactions they have with the rules of the game. Dueling Network, on the other hand, was the perfect way for my friends and I to play each other over Skype. The interface worked well, and everything was manual, so it was essentially the same thing as playing with actual cards. And now the only way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to buy the cards or buy Konami's games. I'm not saying you shouldn't support the card game or the company. In fact, I think completely the opposite of that. However, I don't think Konami going after these apps is really the best way to go. Dueling Network and Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro created communities for the game, and I think that's something important when it comes to keeping a player install base. Honestly, if these two things didn't exist, I'm not even entirely sure if I'd still be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! One of the biggest features these two apps have is the ability to test your deck before buying the actual cards. Some people may be able to afford the trial and error it takes to test a deck and to buy multiple packs or singles, but I'm not that person. Without having the ability to know my cards are going to work well in conjunction with one another, I don't think I can justify spending the money it would take to play the game competitively. Konami has made a slew of bad decisions over and over in recent times, and I think this is one that simply adds to that list. Trust me, I completely understand the idea of wanting to retain Konami's intellectual properties. However, I don't believe that the ability for players to test their decks online and play each other over the internet is really hurting Konami that much. In fact, I'd argue that having these online play spaces only helps to further their cause. However, I don't work at Konami and I certainly don't have the numbers in front of me to prove it one way or another. So, what do we do now? Well, as you can see, I do have Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro running, but that's because I have the app. If you play it on their website, it's essentially no more. And as far as I know, the app won't be receiving any more updates, so you're essentially stuck with the version you have now until the community eventually dies out. I do believe DevPro is still available, but let's be honest, if these two are gone, it's only a matter of time before Konami goes after the last one. Now, here's what Konami could do to make things right. They could release their own free version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, make it just as good, if not better, and then they could supplement it with ads so they can still make that money they clearly desire, and players would probably be happy. However, they probably won't do that. They'll probably release an app that's slow or clunky like they've done in the past, or they'll charge lots of money to play with virtual cards. Now, one kind of medium I could see is if Konami actually went back to utilizing the codes that you find on the bottom left of the cards. Maybe you could input those cards so that you automatically get cards online that you already own in real life. However, that would be a very, very long process, but I guess it wouldn't matter too much if you're only inputting the cards you want to use to play with at that given time anyway. But it still wouldn't really solve the problem of wanting to test your deck before you buy the cards. Although Konami would probably be like, oh well, deal with it. So I'm not entirely sure what to think. I guess at this point all we can really do is wait and see how things go. What do you guys think will happen? Are you really upset about what Konami's done with Dueling Network, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, and likely DevPro? Or does it not really affect you that much and you just play in real life anyway? Let me know in the comments down below and drop a like on this video if you have enjoyed it. I would appreciate it very much, and I will catch you guys next time.